Hello everyone, how are you today? I'm just checking my Facebook page here, make sure I can see you all, but let me know where you're watching from, if you're tuning in live or if you're watching the replay, comment the word replay. We have got a chance for gift card giveaways at the end of our live, so don't go anywhere. And I am so excited to be here for another live DIY project. My name's Sharon Hankins and I'm from the blog I Restore Stuff, where I upcycle furniture and home decor. And I also love to do sign making and stenciling. And today I've got some fun projects for you because I have, I'm trying to get myself organised here. We've had a wedding last week in our family. I know Melissa's talked about their son getting married, and so our daughter Tori got married last Wednesday, and that was awesome. The day was perfect. It was a beautiful day, and let me just see here, making sure I've got our comments. We've got wedding flowers still going. They're looking a little droopy right now, but the house is filled with all sorts of flowers. So hello Cindy. Hi Brenda, how are you? I can see comments now, so... Hello, Elisa. How are you going? Yeah, so the wedding went great. If you saw, I did post a couple of photos on my stories on my I Restore Stuff Instagram, which then goes to Facebook page, my I Restore Stuff Facebook page. But yeah, it was a great day. Perfect in every way. So that was exciting. Now today I have for you to show you the Stencil of the Month Club for June, which you can join any time. Now, if you do join the Stencil of the Month Club, if you have not joined already, you can use my code IRestoreStuff and get a free month in the basic plan, or 50% off the first month in the premium plan. And I'll show you the difference between those two plans today. But also, I thought we'd have some fun with, I don't know if you can see these. Oh, hang on, I'm going to have to press my play here so I can actually see where we're up to. We've got some oars. Now, I found these at a thrift store. I've got some tape on them to show you where we're going to be stenciling today and having some fun with those. But I have stripped them back because they were a real orangey pine, looking varnish. So as varnish ages, they get real orangey. So if you go to my Instagram or my Facebook stories from a couple of days ago, actually they disappear in 24 hours. I'll have to make a little highlight reel for them and I'll put it all together in a reel maybe, or a video. But I stripped these back with some paint stripper, and then I sanded until it was raw finish. And then I used, I used the new Alchemy by Fusion paint range in the color Clay to create a wash, like a stain wash. And I've stained them in that colour. So it's got a nice oaky kind of colour stain. Now, because it's a chalk paint finish or a chalk type finish, it will be a little bit porous and it'll look a bit lighter than before you seal it. So once I seal it, it'll just deepen the rich tones in the wood. So I've taped these off, and for this one, I've actually started, I hope that's in the shot, I've started painting on that, and I've used Alchemy by Fusion in the colour Alabaster, which is it's an off-white neutral, a really nice neutral colour with greyish tones. So I'd say grey, tanny tones. So I'm wondering whether to do it that darker white, and I'll do a second coat in a minute, or if I might do the colour Casement in Fusion, which is a brighter white. And then I've picked some fun colours like maybe midnight blue for a dark blue, giving a bit of a, lake or coastal theme. You could go for either this way. Then I've got a couple of fusion colours. Maybe Paisley leans more coastal, and then this colour in the Alchemy range, Time, which is, I feel like that's got coastal or something that would go with the ore kind of colours. So we'll be looking at those today. And I've got all of the links for both the Stencil of the Month Club and one of the ideas that I'm going to use from the beach set. I've got links for those in the pinned comment and also in the description of the live. So if you're looking for those, you'll find those there. Let me just see if I can lift this out of the window and then I can see comments a little easier. Okay, Marcella, how are you? Now, also, I'm testing out a microphone today, so let me know if the sound is a lot better for you there, because we've had some trickiness with Facebook doing weird things. Thank you for all the congratulations. Hello, Marcella. Now, speaking of Marcella, thank you. A little shout out. She messaged me on my I Restore Stuff page on Facebook and said that she's been doing some stenciling, showed me a picture, and I love that. So friends, if you ever want to message me at I Restore Stuff, I love seeing what you're working on, or if you want to tag my page, I love to see that and I can share those with other people. But good on you, Marcella. And she bought a lot of the Alchemy range of paint using my code. So you can use my code for the paint as well and get 10% off at the Fusion store. All right. So moving right along, let's see. Thank you for sprinkling. Christy's sprinkling our live, sharing it around in Facebook land. And Gloria says, great sound. Excellent. Brenda, you love the new Fusion paint. I love it too. Oh, Marcella said you used 6 colours and then went back and ordered the rest of them. Yeah, and you can get them in these smaller pots. They do come in a larger 500ml pot, but the smaller one, 120 mils, are perfect for stenciling and sign making. They will last a long time because you only need a little bit. So that is great. All right, so let's see what, first of all, I'll show you the Stencil of the Month Club. For those of you who haven't seen it yet this week, I think Melissa showed it. I'm not sure if Amanda might have showed it too on Monday night, but here we are, Wednesday night. And our Stencil of the Month Club comes in 2 sizes. So we've got the premium plan, and then there's the basic plan, which is a smaller version and just selected elements. So the basic plan has less in it, just for a more affordable option for those who might want that. The premium plan, we've got, now the theme that is given is, Lakeside Summer. I must have read it off the wrong. I put Summer Nights and Firefly Lights in the description, but the theme is actually Lakeside Summer for June in 2020. There's 3 different large sheets like this. We've got river, we've got lake, beautiful little scenery here, which you could use for a whole lot of things, you know, with a beach background. I've seen that being used this week, so that's fun. That's 1, 2, 3. So we've also got, now who can guess, I might be using some things from this today. So we've got Lake Life at the top there, we've got some oars, and remember, I think Amanda may have showed this, that this oar here, you can use this as the background, and then this layers over the top of the oar to do your stripes. We've got a canoe and some lovely waves, so I'll be using that with my oars. And then the last one is gorgeous camping / hunting / woods. Welcome to my neck of the woods, or you can use the words "to our" right here. So I love that Essential Stencil has done that, because you know, you could just be a single person and you can use that "welcome to my neck of the woods," or you can use the "our" if it's family or couple or whatever. So "to our neck of the woods" in there. So that's great. Little footprints, night sky, all of the things. I love the little chairs, so cute by the campfire. And then that's all. So that's the premium plan set. And then there's, of course, the add-on. So the add-on is usually used in conjunction with the same theme. And we've got Not All Who Wander Are Lost. And then we've got Summer Nights and Firefly Lights. North, South, East, West. Oh, I could maybe use that on my oars today too. And then some cute fireflies, which would make a great border or addition to some of your other signs. And then the add-on is optional, so you can add that on to your Stencil of the Month Club. And then we've got this smaller basic set, which has the welcome to my neck of the woods right there, and then the 3 elements. It's got a couple of the oars, so you do still have a background and a layered oar there, and then there's the, what do you call that? Not a deck. Is it a deck? What do you call this thing? Oh, I tell you. Okay, Lake Life, and then we've got river. So you can say River Life if you wanted to, and a couple of the animals there. Yes, Marcella, you can use them as stains, which is exactly what I did for these oars. So I used the chalk mineral paints from Fusion, the new alchemy. Oh, and I wanted to also mention too that there's a lot of coastal themed stencils and etc. That are back in stock at the moment. So don't forget, use my code IRESTORESTUFF. We've got these coastal themes, which also would work well with the lake theme and my oars. So you've got the coastal set here with, I think even that little sailboat could work cute on a lake, or the oars. And then you've got, of course, the sea turtles and shells. There's actually maybe a third one, I'm not sure, but there's a bundle. If you just look at my links, and I've got the word coastal stencils and transfers there, there's a link right to all of those. If you just type in the search coastal, and you'll find all of those. All right, let's have a look at what we've got going on. I might match my other oar here and show you how I did that. So that's all dry now, ready to maybe do a second coat on. So we've got that. Hello, Olive. Yep, she's here. We gave her a pig's ear, and she's probably just put it down here. She's probably, no, I'm not going to show that on. Marty's handing it to me. No, we're not going to show that. The dock, thank you, Karen. The dock. This little thing here that I couldn't think of the word of. All right, so I'll keep that aside, the basic set, and the premium set right here for easy reach. Now on these oars also, now I'll be doing probably some stripes along the way. I thought of a couple of other stencil sets that might go well with it, which is the beach one, which we've got the sand, surf and sun. Life is better at the beach. Any of those kind of fit. So I don't know if have you ever seen oars at a thrift store? I just saw them and I thought, I'm going to do something with those. So those kind of, these 6x6 minis, there's the Dance with the Waves and the Coastal Phrases. They would also fit on those as well. So lots of fun ideas there. And I know a lot of you don't live in coastal areas, but hey, there's nothing wrong with using that for, say, a pool area, or you might just want a coastal theme in your house, and that's okay. All right, so I'm using the colour Alabaster in the new Fusion Alchemy range, and that's what I did here. So I'll just show you. If you're putting stripes or anything on your oars, and I could have done a brighter white. I'm still tossing over that idea. I can always go over it later, but I've just placed the painter's tape right where I want it to be finishing. And what I did was I measured things like the sand, surf, sun. I thought, oh yeah, that will fit there, and I'll just sort of put a stripe off there. But we'll do some other fun things with these as well. Okay. Just painting along, but away from the painter's tape. You don't want to paint this way because you can risk that bleeding underneath the tape. So we don't want the paint to go under there and have fuzzy edges. We want nice smooth edges. So I just come across the tape after I've got a lot off the brush, and then just going around the edges. Now we could do something completely different on the other side. You might have one side could be a coastal theme, and then one side could be a lake theme, or just plain. You wouldn't have to necessarily put any stencils on as it either. Now, I did see a whole lot of great inspiration on Pinterest for painting oars and making them as a decor piece. I'm just kind of going around the side here, and probably when I do the other side I might match this side with my area and direction. So now I've got one coat on here, and you'll see after it dries, I'm not sure if you can see that, once it dries the colour is a little bit lighter. You can see a little bit through the board onto the wood. And then I'm thinking of all sorts of fun ideas, like I could distress the edges and everything, make it look really rustic. So this is going to be a fun project. And I may not get it all finished today. I might just have to, oh, I was going to do a second coat. I might have to do some more on my own page, because the ends here, I don't know if you caught a sight of the ends of the oars, they are just this plastic, and it's really, really stuck on there. Like, it's super glued onto the end. And I didn't want to have to break it or do something weird with it. So I am actually going to paint the plastic. In fact, why don't I try to do that now, just to see, because this chalk style paint just sticks to everything. So I just wanted to have a little test. If it doesn't, we will use some Ultra Grip by Fusion, but I think the only thing is with doing it like this is, if I might just have to do one side for now, because the other side will have to, you know, be laying down on the table, and we don't want to get that. Oops. So I have to get this edge here to get that right around, but it'll just sort of tie it in. I just didn't want that yellow standing out like a sore thumb at the top of the, I've got it on the oar itself, but that's okay, just wipe that off. And yeah, that's going to work out great. So just a couple of coats on that, and I think will be a nice finish. I can hear Olive in the other room munching away on her treat. Okay, so I'll leave the other side until this side has dried, but I think that's going to work out fantastic. So flipping this back around, this is so awkward to do on a live. There we go. So this is the side that has dried. This side is still a little wet, and we're just going to go a second coat so you can see the benefits of adding a second coat to your piece. And this is so much easier to cover once you've got that first coat down. And once again, we're just going across away from the painter's tape, so we don't get any paint underneath it. Yes, Carrie, this is the Alchemy paint by Fusion. So this is the colour Alabaster. Okay, I'm not very good at trying to make sure that there's no paint left on the lid, and then my lids get stuck, but it's all right. I have ways and methods of getting the lid off. All right, so now we can see, I'll just dry that a bit. Yes, it does look better on the end with the paint, doesn't it? You can see the difference with the yellow. Now that's one coat. This is the one that has two coats. So I can see a difference. I'm not sure if you can. So we've got one coat at the top there, and then the bottom one has two coats. So it will be better to just have one more coat on there. I think we should do some more stripes going up here. Now, I did notice, and I was wondering if it was long enough, that this oar here would make a good stripe going across, but it's a thin stripe. But let's see if it fits the edge. It does. So we could make another little thin stripe here for this oar, and then go over that a couple of times. That saves me trying to tape something off. Now, since I do have, wondering if I should use this or a stencil brush, because I do have the paint on here already. It may be, see how this is wobbling around because of the unevenness of the oar? It may be better for me to get a stencil brush, but I have paint on this brush already, and as long as I'm going lengthwise along the stripe, it should be okay. I have to go this way, holding it carefully, making a little stripe along that way. Ta-da! So there we can make a little stripe as we go using an oar stencil, which is a perfect width for this oar. Now I'm just going to guess on the width that I used. Doesn't really matter if it's slightly off, does it? Okay, going again. We've got a little bit less on the brush, but that's okay. Less is better, isn't it, when we're stenciling? Turning my hand around. Wipe some paint off the edge there. And that's just the one coat on there. I haven't done my second coat on here yet, so I'll do that. And then I'm going to maybe add some colour next. Yep, definitely a better feel once there's two coats on there. Monica's asking, what would you put on or if you wanted it to be outside, if you want to protect it from the weather? Yeah, so I would just use one of the sealers. So Fusion has a couple of tough coat sealers, a gloss or a matte finish, and they're okay for outside. But if it's going to be, because the paint itself, I know the Fusion paint is what do you call that? It doesn't fade in the sun. So that's a benefit. But if it's going to get a lot of water on it, rain, etc., usually most people might put Decor under an eave or under a patio or something, and that would be fine. Just don't use a wax. Waxes aren't great in the sun, they melt. But yeah, if you're worried about the weather and water getting onto it, lots of water and lots of rain, maybe use something that's waterproof, like a proper outdoor sealer, like an outdoor oil sealer or something. Okay, let's add some fun stripes. Now I might just get my stencil brush and let's get some colour to add onto these, and we will make a wider stripe using our painter's tape. I won't take that tape off there just yet. Let's go with this. So we'll make a stripe a little bit around about that far away. Oh, hang on, no, it's not going to be that far away, is it? I need a bit closer. I need to get it real close. Oops, messed up my paint job. Put it in a plastic bag so it doesn't dry out. And pop this one over here. Now to make a bigger stripe, I'll use probably the width of one of these. Just trying to measure my space. Around about the width of a stripe, a painter's tape stripe. We're guessing. We want some larger, wider stripes on here, so we'll use that, and then around about the same size, and just a good guess. So I'm putting it there, then kind of going, yep, that's about right. But if you want to use your measuring tape, please do that. So we've got one stripe here, maybe we need another up here. Excuse me. Let's have another guess again at that. I forgot to lean this down a little bit more maybe, so we can see the oars a bit closer. I'm working so far away. I've noticed Facebook's changed the camera angle to this like 0.5 looking thing, and it looks really weird to me. It looks a little bit odd, but anyway. We're working with what we've got what we've been given. So another wide stripe around about there. And we've got these fun colours to work with. I'm using Alchemy's colour Time because I love that green. I think it's like a real coastal look. And this paisley. Maybe we'll do a couple of colours. And measuring a good guess right about there to get a couple of stripes going on up. And you could use some more stripes going on up that way too. So let's have a look. Maggie's asking about the 6x6 stencils. These are 6x6. All right, let's go with this green first. Oh, very stringy. It's a little bit more thicker than your mineral paints. Chalk paint is. So let's get one of our stencil brushes here. This is a 5/8 inch brush, and I'm going to use our offloading cardstock to really make sure we've got not too much on the brush. So we offload that a bit. There we go. And going in here. And we can come in from the painter's tape and do a nice little swirling motion. Go over the edges a little bit. And again, like if someone's going to be hanging these as decor, they would just see one side of the oars, wouldn't they? But you could do, like we do for some signs, is make them reversible and change it up for another season. Let's match that on the other side, on the other oar. So let me know in the comments, what would you use as a theme if you had oars? Would you go coastal or would you go lake? Let me know in the comments. I do love this green colour too. It's the colour Time, Alchemy by Fusion. And you can use my I Restore Stuff code at the Fusion Mineral Paint link that I've got there in the description of the live. Excuse me. You can get 10% off it. Coastal or lake? What sort of theme would you go for? We might do some more stripes up there. Add a little plastic bag for my brush. And we go with Fusion's Paisley. This is their mineral paint. Linda says lake. Cheryl says lake. Mary would go coastal. See, in Brisbane, in Queensland here, we're quite close. Well, it's only about a 45-minute drive to our beaches. Maybe an hour if you want to go the other way. Kelly, you love coastal. Patty loves coastal. Coastal, Gippy go lake. Kimberly says, I have a feeling I'm going to be looking out for oars after this. Yeah. I know, it was a nice surprise, and I saw these. I don't even remember how much they were, not very much. Okay, so making sure our tape is really firm down onto the wood, and then again you can use your swirling motion or just sort of brush it inwards, kind of coming in from the edges of the painter's tape and then swirling on the inside. That was easy. The bigger brush was good. So this is the 7/8 inch brush. They come in a set of 4. Hopefully there's some in stock at the moment, but you can use my same code, I Restore Stuff, on all the brushes, the stencils, the transfers, anything at Essential Stencil. Also the transfers, we've got our new little Essential Stencil rub-on tool, which are available as well. You can use the same code for that. And let's see how these stripes are looking. I may go up with some more stripes on the handles, but I'll do that at a later time. Might do some more on my page. And my page is I Restore Stuff if you want to follow me over there for more home decor and decorating tips. Now, I've done 2 coats on both of those, haven't I? Just want to make sure that's all nicely dried. You know what? I don't think I did a second coat on this bottom part. I feel like I didn't. Just looks a little bit lighter. Just for good measure, I'm going to do that. Because I can't tell. Maybe I did. I'll have to watch the replay to see what I did. But I just feel like it needed a bit better coverage to match up with the other oar. Okay. Now it's time to take our tape off. Let's do it. Oh, Pippi says I did. So I did do a second coat, so now we've got 3. That's okay. Lorraine, you've decorated your home with coastal and you live an hour away from the ocean. Yes, a lot of people here do too, no matter how far they live from the ocean. Here in Australia, I guess we've got a lot of coast here in Australia. So people love the coastal decor too. All right, so taking off our stripes now. I may use the tape again, just up the handle of the oar, whatever you would call this. And remember, when we do a sealer on this, it'll really deepen those colours and won't change them too much, but you'll definitely see it'll deepen the wood grain of that stained portion of the oar. So let's get it. Here's what we had before, just a plain oar, but it's stained in the colour clay as a wash from the Alchemy line of paints by Fusion. Okay, and I did only do 1 coat of these colours, but I do like the way they look. I think they stand out just fine along there. So you could go crazy with all sorts of stripes and different patterns and things. I've seen arrows, I've seen all kinds of fun things on oars. If you just look up Pinterest and look up Coastal Decor Oars and see what they have there. So we could add our Fun Sand Surf Sun stencil here. One thing I did want to do, I thought these little waves at the bottom of here are so cute, and I'd love to add the waves down to the bottom of this. And then we can add words to the top. Either way, it looks like a fun idea, so I thought we'd go with it. So let's just tape this down here so we don't get those there. And what colour should I go with? Maybe the blue, this paisley. So I'll grab that. Actually, I think I still had some more right here on my board. I left a blob of it right there. So let's grab that and just add a bit more to the brush. Oh, my paint had started to dry out on the brush already. Didn't bring a wet cloth this time. Let's go. So, they're just banging around all over the table here. Probably could have used a smaller brush for this, but since I already had paint on this one, we're just going to go with it. Just wriggle it in there. We've got some waves going along the bottom of our oars. I'm so glad that this theme came up this month for June. So if you have not joined the Stencil of the Month Club yet, you can do so using my code IRestoreStuff and get your first month, 50% off the first month of the premium plan, and then a free first month using the basic plan, which is a smaller version of this. So you've still got the oars, and you've still got the dock, and the woods, and all the themes that are on there. It's a great theme, and when I had these oars just sitting there in the garage waiting for the perfect opportunity, this was it. Okay, so here we've got our little waves on the bottom of the oar. Oh, what do you think of that? Cute? Yeah, so we've got the little waves down there. We could do something different on this one. We don't have to do everything the same on both oars, and we could also flip the other side and do something else completely different on there. So I did want to do our sand, surf, sun on something. I could maybe do that on here. I could do sand, surf, sun, or do them over the top of that. Or the other thing that would be fun is to use the word lake life and put that over the whole lot using a dark midnight blue. So I could do that for that side, and then maybe I'll do the sand, surf, sun on this side. We've got coastal and lake theme going on here. Okay, so that just fits over that edge. This sand, surf, sun is from the Stencil, the 6-pack minis, beach it's called, and I've got a link for that right there in the comments. There's 6 different designs there in that pack. Hopefully I've got that in the right spot for you to have a look at. You can look that up online. I'll use this colour to make that match the other side, and I'm just going to hold it really still. I could use some painter's tape, couldn't I? Since I've got a bunch here. I crooked it. Made it crooked. Okay, we're ready. And just going with the swirling motion, because I've got hardly anything on the brush, it's not going to bleed under and cause fuzzy edges. But if I do have too much on the brush, it will cause that to be... I'm just going to grab a cloth, a wet cloth, because sometimes that helps with... to just have a damp cloth on hand and just wet just slightly the bristles if your paint is starting to dry out. And so as I do that, I'll just rub it around on there again, and it should just give me a little bit more, it's not so stiff and hard. Does anyone else find that? If you've done stenciling a lot before, if your paint is starting to just dry out on the bristles, just dab it on a damp cloth, and you've got a hair on there. Grab a little bit more paint here. And offloading it. Lorraine says, I would totally buy these oars from you if the shipping wasn't so much. I know. Well, Lorraine, you can make your own using the stencils and some painter's tape. Find some oars. Maybe you've got, I don't know, maybe a family member's giving away some oars. Doesn't need them anymore. I'm not sure who or how they ended up in the thrift store, but I was grateful. There's a couple of edges here. It doesn't seem to be going right to the edge, and maybe that could be because of the big brush that I'm using. Let's have a little look. Oh no, that's fine. It'll be a nice rustic kind of look. So we've got sand, surf, sun on this one. I've got little waves on that one. So we could have a whole different look for the different oars. Bit awesome, I think, right? Now, I wanted to try lake life on this one, so let's do it. Yeah, it doesn't really matter which way I go, like this way or that way, and it would depend on how the oars are hung. Some people hang the oars on the wall as across, like that. Olive, settle. Not much left in my midnight blue, but we will find, let's paint, just tape this down. One here. One over here. And then using, this is a really dark midnight blue, so I feel like, you know, the Hamptons has the dark blue and white stripes sometimes. Let's have a look. Another 3/4 inch brush, and we will grab some paint on our brush, offload that onto the cardboard. No, this isn't the add-on, Maggie, this is part of the set, and the add-on is, oh, not that one. The add-on is the Summer Nights and Firefly Lights with the little nautical. That's one that I think would go great on something like the Oars as well, with the little waves and stuff like that. So we could have done that too. Let's go. Here we go. Nice. Sounds like Olive has finished eating a whole entire pig's ear treat. Oars. Oh, thank you, Melissa. Lorraine, yes, it's the perfect dark blue to go with coastal theme. Like a dark navy midnight blue by Fusion Mineral Paint. And again, with any of the paints, even the stencils, use my code I Restore Stuff for your regular stencil site, or on the Fusion Mineral Paint site, you can save 10%. Gloria says, the places sell oars but not painted by Sharon. Yes. Yeah, you can get oar decor, can't you? But this is such a fun way of just making something your own. No one else is going to have oars quite like this. And I even did a look up at some Australian, you know, high-end decor sites, and they have oars as decor, and like, guys, let me see, did I find one? This place, for example, a set of oars that are painted, $345. This is Australian dollars, so US, maybe that's like 200 and something. But still, a few $100s for some oars that are painted. This is a coastal vintage shop, online shop in Australia that's very high-end kind of, you know, you could be finding yourself some oars and doing some painting and selling it to those people in the Hamptons. I don't know. There's just an idea, a top business tip for you right there. Look at that. That is stunning, the way that the navy blue, that midnight blue, has come out on the other things, and it kind of makes it stand out. I like it. I've got that upside down for you, but here is Lake Life. Let me get our Facebook so I can see that. I know, Lorraine, crazy, isn't it? So expensive. But hey, if you want to make some money, there you go. Go and paint some oars, stencil some oars. All right, let's have a little look here. I feel like we could do some navy blue stripes up on the top there too. Let's have a peek at what else. Now, so remember this fun one with the add-on here. I think that too would be perfect. I'll grab that out of the packet so I can see the size of it. yes, the north, west, east and south absolutely would have been the perfect, it's almost like perfect 6x6 size, that little compass thing there. So that would be perfect for your oars as well. The other things were things from the transfers. You've got your sailboats, lake life, that would be cute little sailboat here on the bottom in one of those sections. Lighthouse even would fit on an oar perfectly. Imagine the turtles on the oars. So many different fun ideas. If you can find yourself some oars, that would be awesome. Okay, let's have a look at our handles up here and I'll show you the comparison, because what I'm going to do is paint. So this is the yellow plastic that it came with, and then I've painted this one in the Fusions Alchemy in the colour Alabaster. So that's going to look great once that's all painted. I'll do 2 coats of that and then do it on the other side as well. The other thing I wanted to do, and so let's have a look if we can, I reckon we need to add another stripe right up about here, up near the handles of that navy blue. I just think it would look great. Let's just do that now. We could even do a really big navy stripe and just sort of tie that in with the words. Offloaded the navy there, and going down the sides as well. And even just for the one coat of that, if you have a little bit of, you can see a little bit of the wood through it, it does create that nice rustic feel. So I think it looks great. I may even just give this a scuff sand to sort of sand off and make it look a bit more distressed. I could add some white stripes up here. So bye. My husband's saying bye. Yeah, so I really like that. There's 2 different looks going on here, but we've got a theme still with the stripes and the colours, undercolours, and the colours are theming. I may add some navy in there. I don't know. What would you guys do? Could even add, go over this with the navy as a drop, you know, make that into a drop shadow, and that would tie all that in too. So let's have a little look at what we're up to here. You enjoying this so far? Someone said, who is that? Sheila says, you stencil with such confidence. I've had a lot of practice. Yes, Gloria, the handle would look great painted in the navy too. So yes, I agree. Okay, I'm just really eyeballing this, folks, and just totally guessing as where my marker would be up to on this. I've got my stripes lined up here, and so hopefully my stripes are lined up well along here as well. I just need an extra little bit of navy. Oop. And make sure that's completely taped down properly. Just dabbed my brush on that wet cloth I was telling you about, and just giving it a little bit more, whoops, felt like I broke a nail then. Yeah, a little bit more even coverage. Just got a bit of the navy paint on there, never mind. Okay. Gloria says, so many possibilities. All we need now are some oars. I do have ones from Michael's. How big are they? I wonder. Do they sell the big oars at Michael's, or are they just sort of the smaller ones? Maybe I'll just do one of the words just to make that navy kind of tie in and pop out. So what we're going to do is a little shadowing technique. So what I do is I lay the stencil down exactly on top of the stencil, then just shift it slightly to high up and slightly to one diagonal side. And then I'll put it down there, and maybe I'll just do the word surf in the middle. See how that looks. We can always do all of it, but let's see. I'll try and do it without getting it on the other words. And the navy covers really well. It's got really good coverage, the midnight blue. And so what happens is it creates a little bit of a shadow. So that light blue, the paisley colour, is the shadow of this word, and the navy is over the top of it. And it kind of makes it look a little bit 3D and makes it pop a bit. So that's kind of tied in now, that navy from the stripe up here. And like I said, I might just go on with some more white stripes up on the handles or what have you. But let's have a look at that, see what you think. I'll hold that up close so you can see that word surf, hopefully. There's a bit of a delay in my viewing it here on Facebook, and so I can't tell when I'm up there or not in the right spot. So if you can see, the word surf is a lot, it's just got a little shadow of that blue showing out from underneath it. Okay, and then there's the lake life. Such fun. Yeah, they're both unique, aren't they, Kimberly? But they sort of tie into each other. So yeah, I like that. So I'll make sure that's completely dry, and then I'm just going to give it a quick scuff sand with some sandpaper just to see if we can create a bit of that really worn look. That's the last painter. So now everything's really smooth around the edges. I should have probably gone around the edge of that. That's the one I did the little stripe with the oar. But I thought I brought a little piece of sandpaper. Now this is probably 220 grit or something like that. Just got a little piece of sandpaper. And what happens when you paint stencils, you can actually feel the outline of the stencils when you sort of build that up a bit. Now that's only one coat, but it's still, you can feel that build up. And so we're going to just run our, you don't have to do this, you can just leave it as is, but I wanted to give it that really worn rustic coast look and it'll also do that onto the edges of the oar here. Now, it may go back to raw wood. In fact, what I mean by raw is this is a stain, but underneath that, the wood is a lot more blonde. And so it could come back to that blonde look. If I didn't want that to happen, I should have probably, before I painted, added a little bit of, like just rubbed on the edges, a bit of wax, and that would help to resist the top layer of paint and keep that look coming through. But if I'm really careful, I might be able to still make it look worn and not go right through to the blonde wood, but hopefully just to that stained edge there. So I'll just do it on this one side of the oars, and even those colours there, just a little bit sanding back, and the blue. And then along this bottom edge here. Didn't bring I guess I've got my wet cloth there. Hopefully that works. And I'll show you the difference. So I haven't distressed this here, but I have distressed on this edge here. So you should be able to see the difference and how it's kind of given it that rustic look. And then up here as well with the blue, you can see a little bit of that rustic look on the blue. Now let's go ahead with this other side to match them up. They're going to look great. So I'll probably sell these ones in my shop booth at my antique centre. I'm going to go over the words now, and we don't want the whole thing to be too distressed, but just enough to take off a bit of the polished look. In the oar, it's got sort of a raised edge here, so if I get that, it'll look like it's raised above. I've got tape everywhere. Okay, let's have a look at that. I'm just wiping it off with my cloth here. And then you could go over that with sort of an antique glaze if you wanted to, or you could just leave it plain and just put a sealer over the top. So I'll probably do that sealer, and then I'll make a little reel and pop it on my Restore Stuff page. But as that dries off, you'll be able to see what that looks like. Sheila, you can't wait to do some of these. Oh, I'm so glad it's inspired you to do something like that. I'm just drying this because I can definitely see where it's wet. And when you wet your stain, you'll see what it will look like once it is sealed. It gives you that look of once it's sealed. All right, so there it is, a little bit of rusticness, however you want to say that, onto that Lake Life board, and I probably could do the same for the other. But I think that's it for me today, and we are about to pick some winners for our live here on Essential Stencils page. I've really enjoyed doing that project with you. I've had those oars sitting in my garage for I don't know how long, so I'll be finishing those up, take some little video snippets of it, and oh, Nora, how much would I sell them for? I have no idea. I might just have a look at some other... You know what? You can always put a price on it and then come down in your price if that doesn't sell for you. But there you go. I don't know if you can see the handles up there. Remember, we're going to paint the handles white like I've done with that one, so they all kind of fit in with the whole thing. Oh, Facebook is doing some weird things with this camera angle. I don't know if I like this at all. They're doing this 0.5 thing. I don't know. Anyway, Beverly's asking, where'd you get the paddles at? Well, I found these at a thrift store, the actual real oars. So you may have to search out, find somewhere that has them. Don't forget to use my code, I Restore Stuff, for the stencilofthemonthclub.com or the essentialstencil.com website. You can use that for either, and you'll save 10% on the main site. On the stencil of the month, you get savings on your first month of the plan, stencil plan. So let's see if we've got some winners today. This is really tricky to try and hold them up. They look brand new, Nora says. No, I actually removed all the original varnish from them. They were a little bit chipped and golden, like orangey pine looking at first. Okay, we've got our winners, Monica, Dory and Cara. Monica, Dory and Cara. Thank you so much. You are our winners today, and you've won. You have been given, if you just email Essential Stencil at the email address they've said there, they'll send you a $20 gift card. Let them know you were a winner on Sharon's live tonight. So thanks so much for watching, guys, and I'll have to come around the other side of the camera to turn it off, and I'll see you again next week for another DIY live. Bye.